what we don't want will return and return and return until we are strong enough to face what it is that we don't want and walk through it. And in our walking through it, with the new strength that we have in our hearts, it gets dissolved. And sometimes we've got to do that over and over again, because what there is to dissolve uh, is that is that strong or that big or that old. Like a pattern that we have so often inherited, way more often than not. And so we don't really understand why we have it. Because a lot of it doesn't fit into how we connect the dots of our present life.
It's got to be a survival evolution.
Mm. Mm.
And and then so much other stuff that comes through too that we're unaware of.
Mm.
You know, and it for me, like my journey through it was like three big stages, right? That to begin to see this, and like as you spoke, Allison, is the strength is a this either the strength or the ability to handle, facilitate the trauma to release it.
Mm.
I I can think back, like starting the work for me is like it seems like teenagers, right? A teenage year. There's something that triggers the identity in the teenage years. And it's not
Mm.
specific for everyone because it's almost these traumas or big events in life that we can remember. We tend not to forget. And usually, if they're a negative experience, we bury it. Yet it's always playing, especially when that wounding comes up again. And then there appears to be one right around 3 or 4. That one appears to be the real big one. And it's like once we can resolve, when, like you said, we can acknowledge something about it, and we can go right through it, when we can experience it again and just see it for what it was and all that it could be. It untangles.
Mm.
And then we can slide back even farther and see even a stronger, bigger pattern that becomes developed through our real development process. And that's more like what was happening around us. What was our mom feeling? As you think of it, that's 9 months that we're growing.
Mm.
Preparing, like feeling the world, hearing the world, but not out there yet. So our emotions, so much of them have to come from mom as a base layer. And then even a more fundamental layer before that, the last stage is the conception. It's like all the ancestry behind that.
Mm.
Those have been big stages for my breakthroughs.
Mm.
And she's not done at all. But if it was only 4 patterns, that'd be easy.
Mm.
Wow, you can all go really far back.
Beginning of time.
I have no memories of my first 4 or 5 years. I was born with middle ear infection, so whoop, gone with that part.
Mm.
No
With
matter how much people
intention,
tell me.
with intention, you can find something.
Mm.
It's not a, I mean, it's not a memory how we think of a memory. I don't know if it's true, if it happened, but it's the something from nothing and everything.
Is it the same with past lives and so?
Yeah.
Must be.
Okay. But when I'm so present, I don't even think about that. I sort of paint it white, that part of the picture, getting ready for a new layer, the present.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah,
sorry,
Allison.
James. I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say that's just another way of doing it.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, like you, Heinz, I can't. I've had challenges remembering early, my early days, like before 5. And what I realized it was because I buried all that. Like as a coping mechanism, it was just, it was just buried
Mm.
because it was really, really tough. So, some of us have a challenge, like even just reverting back and finding out the truth of where we've been in this life, let alone other ones.
Mm. Make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And when I was born with 5 years of middle ear infection and my skin was peeling off, probably a good coping mechanism says, don't remember that lot of pain.
Yeah. Because what I realized about my experience too is that I experienced enough pain by the time I was 2 years old to want to escape this life. To want to abdicate. which means not participate in the mission that I was sent to live.
So, Heinz, what I was going to say to your way of being and how you are now was that for some people there isn't a need to trace back because the longing for what they want is so strong that they just go for that. And that, so in other words, the longing breaks through what's in the way.
Which is always what happens. Just sometimes
Yes.
people, others have that wounding is in the way of what they want.
Yes,
Meaning
but
they
I
were
think,
going for it and they got wounded. Yeah, and it's just giving the other side of it too, Allison.
yeah, that's the other side of it. Yeah, but I think also, I think what I'm saying, Jess, is that my observations have been, from where I sit, have been that for some people, like Heinz, what was in the way was not strong enough to stop the longing.
Yeah, good point. Tougher than me.
Yeah.
Stronger than me.
Definitely stronger than me too. No doubt. I think that's why I'm commenting on it.
I just want the world to be a loving place. That's what I always
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
And if I don't show it, then how can I expect the world to show it?
There you go.
That's an inward journey, though. You can't change others. You can't make others love. You can only love yourself.
Yeah.
And you loving yourself, it will change the world.
Oh, I had big trouble with that. Didn't happen until 7-8 months ago. I actually learned how to love myself. But being an empath, it was way more easy just pleasing somebody and then hooking onto their feelings.
Mm.
It wasn't until I actually moved alone to a new city and started everything from scratch again, I sort of got more connected with myself.
Mm.
Same with me, Heinz, has taken a period of isolation and to get to know myself.
It's like when you hear people who have written it down, they went 3 years in a cave spending it alone. Well, it's sort of the same when you move to a different city and everything, not talking to anybody. I talk with Chi daily. Hi, Chi.
Good afternoon, Chi.
Hi, morning, Jesse.
Afternoon, Chi.
I am Craig, Jenny, Allison.
Hi, Chi. Wonderful to have you.
Happy to be here.
Welcome, Chi.
Thank you, Craig.
Just honor the collectiveness, the connectedness, the gathering, the strength in the gathering, all of the individual and uniqueness. strong this morning.
All the different reflections.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, please continue.
I
We were
think for
talking.
me, oh,
Sorry, Em, go.
I was just going to say, I think for me, the past few months, I've stopped searching in the past, like I just let it go. Like before, I was going into past lives and reliving the past over and over, but now I've just been able to let that go and just live in the present moment. It's gone. All that exists is for now. The searching for what's wrong is gone because there's nothing wrong. I'm perfect as I am.
Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, we
That
all
need,
are.
yeah, just the need's gone.
Yep. And then the present can be new and different. And we find it can be whatever we want it to be, which is where you came in with awareness and just noticing like you're moving through life more from neutral, and that allows you to go easier to either side. You are controlling it from the inside out of your feeling, how you're feeling, rather than letting the past experiences dictate what you see in the present. You've broken the loop. You've stepped through it. You've seen it for what it was, honored it how it is, and choosing to see it different.
That's freedom.
That's choice. That's change. That's transformation, enlightenment. It's all of it. And now we can start to see it's like, oh, we can begin to go for what we want. That is freedom.
Like when I'm my own, I'm all right. When I'm with people, I'm all right. It just feels neutral.
And in that, then you can begin to replace the old patterns with new ones. And you just know in that neutral, you can look for like, oh, if I'm with people, how do I want it to be? And now you just experience for how it is. And then you can begin to look for, well, I want it to be this. And so we put the intention, a word on it, and then it starts to show that way. And it's like, oh, all we're doing is building new habits, new patterns. That's all this is.
And I'm seeing from a different perspective. Like before, if someone would say something to me, I would take it really personally. But now it's like I see it as a blessing because it's showing me their wounding, it's showing me their heart, and it's filtering the type of people out of my life that I don't want. So I'm seeing it as a really positive thing now. Oh,
Yeah.
like say someone said like on holiday anorexic, it's like oh, well, you must really hate yourself to say that. Oh, well, let's move on. I just feel compassion for them.
Keep the space open, right?
And when you don't involve yourself in what other people are saying, you're not giving them any more energy to make it grow.
Mm. That's right. It's not feeding the pattern.
Mm.
Mm.
They're wanting a response, and so you've broken the pattern. Well, why didn't what about and it's like it causes a pause.
And when you don't do it, Ian, then you don't judge, then you actually are spreading love. It's the opposite of judging. So
Yeah, because I'm not judging myself anymore. I'm not judging others.
Mm.
And like that pattern has been a part of us for so long that I don't know if it ever like just poof vanishes. But I think as we continue to practice a new way with it, then it's helped support the new practices, the new habits. So it becomes a part of.
Don't think it's like disappears. I just notice it straight away now, whereas before I wouldn't
Mhm.
notice it.
That's exactly. You're not giving it the power.
Like the
You're not
thought, I
giving it
notice it
your
straight
power.
away.
Yep.
Mm. Like
Yep.
even
Yeah.
a thought now, I notice the thought straight away, and it's like, oh, whereas before I wouldn't notice it.
That's right. You just get stuck in that cycle. It pulls you right into it.
Like when we choose to see through the lens of goodness and love, it's much easier.
Yes, it is. Easier to see that. Not always easy to start there.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But much better when we get there. Wow, look at all that we've done with awareness so far. Thank you, Ian.
Mm.
One of my favorite sayings is the first place is always in the awareness. And there is unlimitedness to awareness. And I always like the next place it takes me is like, well, what am I aware of? I go, my being. How am I being? It's what am I thinking? Like Ian says, oh, I noticed that thinking pattern, right? Or that, and then we also, with thinking, we have feeling patterns. And people have a dominancy, like one or the other lead them. I can't tell the difference because some situations it's the feeling that I notice, and some situations it's the thought I notice. Doesn't matter. And when I'm aware of my being, whether the thought or the emotion, I look at the charge of it. So it's ABC, aware of being charged. My charge is neutral, is Ian. It's like, oh, I think it's the easiest place to push a car. Forwards or backwards, positive or negative. It's the easiest place to push a car is when it's in neutral. No, he had to do that this weekend. Well, much easier to push it down a hill than it is to push it up a hill. Anyway, the charge. As we tend to be stuck in our charges on either ends, on the far ends of them, and we just respond to life through that perspective, that perception, that charge. At least I did. When we can practice neutral.
I've got a question for you guys because I've been getting like my awareness and my question has been going really deep. The question that's been coming up for me lately is, if God created us, who created God?
I
So
don't
which part of you is created and which part is not?
what I was going to say also is I don't have the question in the same language, Ian. But for me, it boils down to the same dilemma in a way. And that's the mystery of life, is how did it all start?
Chicken or the egg?
If we're all one, who created the one?
Of course,
Sorry,
the
say
one.
that again.
If we're all one, because we're all one consciousness, who created the one?
She did, obviously. Who said it had to be a he?
Yeah, just he, because I don't know how else to word it. But,
That's the point. Nobody knows. Great question.
Yeah, it is.
But just notice where we all go with it. So it's
Yeah.
obviously not in our answers.
No.
Yeah, that's a really Western thinking thing to put the male pronoun on God.
I don't know how else to word it. Do I call God it? Because he's got no gender. I don't know how else to word it.
Here's I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to butcher it, but it's fine. If we can say God is everything, can we say that?
Go for it, Jess.
Could we say God is everything?
Yes, I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Then we can't point to anything to be something. We can't, like, as soon as we call it something, right, then it's everything else too. So it's like, oh, we can't really, it's like, so it's one of those things, just we can't really label it,
Mm.
because as soon as we call it a God, then it isn't everything else. I butchered it, but
No, it's good. It brought a story back for me. I think I've shared it in the group before, but I'll bring it back again. The Kalis was about 3. Kalis is my daughter. And we were driving to friends, which they lived in a direction opposite to where the shops were. And she all of a sudden says to me, we were listening to music because that's what we always did. Mummy, if God is everything, is he the video store? Because in those days, we used to go to the video store to get her, VHS tapes to watch at 3. So I didn't know where she came up with the question from. And I also didn't know where she'd heard that phrase of God is, that God is everything, because I certainly had never said that to her. I don't know if Bruce had. He might have, but I don't think so. Because when I retold the story to him, he just looked at me and said, "Where on earth did she get that from?" So that's why I said you can go ahead with saying God is everything.
In that way, it also makes him nothing.
Yeah. Which makes it so awesome that we are alive right here, right now, in our bodies, going about life.
so now here's the thing. Ian, are you God?
Hmm.
We all are.
Well, you don't have any resistance to that. That's great.
Everyone's got in human form. It's just I've been asking myself deeper questions.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Good explanation. If you take a hologram and you just take a little piece of it out, you can see the whole hologram in the piece.
Mm.
Like a drop is the ocean and the ocean is the drop.
Mm.
Take that drop home, it's still the ocean, right? But the perception of it is, oh, I've got the ocean with me. Like, oh, well, that doesn't work in our language.
Mm.
That's why 4 is one of those ranges 4 is one of those big moments. It's because we were just beginning to understand the one side of the words.
Words are limited, divided.
And therefore they limit and divide us.
Mhm.
And at the same time, they connect us.
Yeah. Nobody told us that when we were learning the words,
No.
because all we did is pattern them. All we did is pattern it, and then we figured out what that meant on our own experiences. So we had a little guy over here, man, it was a long time ago, but we used to watch him, and I've had so many great aha moments. So either way, we were outside. He's 3, so all he's speaking is patterns. Just repeating these words. And so he's out on the cement, and he's hot, 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 and just walking back and forth on the hot cement. Like in a circle on the hot cement, and it's like, oh, I see just the pattern. And so we put him in the grass, and he's like, oh, and then he walks back on the hot cement. Yeah. Better yet, I think what we said, it was hot, and yet he didn't know what hot was, so he was just repeating the word.
To him, it was maybe warm.
So it's, oh, careful, that's hot, right? Careful, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Fascinating. And all of that's happening all the time as we grow up, as we age.
And we lose the awe of it.
We lose the other end of it when we start to say that's that, that's that, that's that. In a way, we lose all the magic that's behind it. All that is another way of saying it. Until we find it again.
Yes. And then it's even bigger.
Yep. Or it was that big before.
Correct. But our experience of it is bigger, right?
Yeah.
Because we have more awareness.
That's right. We've got much more foundations to add to it. Experiences.
So he's got the highest level of awareness.
I think without the words to it, without the words for it. No, I could just imagine what that would be, but the emotions through it.
What I was wondering now was about emotions and embodiment. And what I was thinking was, when we, like, even with emotion, if we allow it to go through, then that's a full embodied experience. But when we block an emotion because of another emotion, because of a pattern or a defense that we've developed, then we don't get to embody it.
No. We embody the old one.
Yeah.
Again
Mm.
and again and again.
Until
Oh, is
we,
that how patterns live?
yep.
Oh, and then are there patterns that will like happen like 4 months apart or years apart? How do you learn those? Wow.
Yeah, and the world and our environment goes to great lengths to teach us that separation is all there is.
Mm.
And that's the real pickle.
Yeah. I think if there was an awareness to that was what it was, I think like well, I don't think it would hold up. Now, is there manipulation and control? Well, I don't think intentionally, but I think to maintain, that's what happens.
Mm.
I mean, once you have the advantage, you don't want to lose it, right?
Yeah,
Yep, because you think that that's all that you can have.
That's right. It's the
right.
scarcity. It's the scarcity structure that's built into it, Craig, that I think that's what I see with it. It's like that scarcity that's way deep in the background is a result of that. That scarcity structure is a result of what you spoke to. Does that line with what you were thinking?
Yeah, it kind of, there's that whole loop that's created that kind of feeds itself.
Right. Yeah. All loops feed themselves. Especially the unresolvable ones.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a real unique dance that happens between, how can I put this now? So as you guys were talking, the word focus came up for me again. So then I think we all have a very unique pattern in terms of how things work for us with regards to where we put our focus when. So if we're constantly putting our focus on the unresolvable, then that gives that energy. But at some point we do need to, because we need to be able to be aware enough to walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you do it the way that Heinz does it, in terms of that his focus really just goes towards expanding the heart and being in the present. That's his focus. So whatever comes up in that comes up, and he lets it go, doesn't pay much attention to it, but he pays attention to letting it go. Whereas for somebody like me, what I definitely used to have to do was to pay attention to that. But I also then started to realize that sometimes it was a good time to do it, other times it was not. So there are all those different, layers that we can kind of go through. And I mean, I think I've also really started to see that by seeing how devoted I felt to my meditation path. And then I would meet people who had exactly what I perceived was peace in themselves. And yet they some of them had never even walked a spiritual path. They hadn't done it. And then in my spiritual communities, I had people that were completely stuck, totally stuck and separated. And ego bound, strongly ego bound.
Well said. Aware of our focus when. Ooh. And it brings into the structure, right? You're bringing into the structure the current reality, the current moment, the present. It's always one of the points of structure, which I don't think we always accept.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would too. There's denial that goes on.
Yeah.
At the present point, or some kind of avoidance of the present point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we think about it, why the importance of it is the only thing we have.
And then the acceptance of that is the beginning.
The beginning of the next moment, the next present, the next present, which is always in the future.
No, it's in the present, yes.
But it's coming to the present near you soon.
That's exactly what I hear happens to Heinz. He goes from present to present to present. And then every time I remind him about something past, he goes, what? Where?
It's not in the present anymore, it's in the past.
That's right.
Heinz, you didn't get here just overnight, right? You've been on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, does it matter how I got here? I am here.
Doesn't matter. No.
That's it. The past is always part of the present. That's the point of why there's no need to dwell on it, because it's all built into the present moment.
Yeah.
And we don't, I didn't see that either.
Hmm. I mean, can you imagine other species watching us, shaking their heads, saying, "These people, they've been given so much. This is so stupid. They can't see it."
But we're having fun.
Yeah, maybe we are the last to evolve, huh? Maybe we're the last learners left. That would mean that that would have to put all the other animals above us, and we don't do that in our perspective. That's a deep one for me.
Maybe
Yeah,
we're
somehow
end
the
in the beginning.
challenges of this earth realm drew in souls like us.
maybe we're not the last. Maybe they've become so addicted to the technology they're actually looking for a way back to the ancient future. Like we're studying, doing it simple.
Yeah, that was the risk of introducing technology into the mix. You know, one side, technology has become a huge distraction. But on another side, it's facilitated meetings like this one.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Pascal.
Morning, Pascal.
Morning, Pascal.
Morning, Pascal.
So your awareness and kind of a noticing our patterns, perspectives, the present moment, how we can focus on the past. And kind of in the sense of deep, I call it deep questioning. That's probably a good way to put it. Deep pondering, that's a better word.
Deep pondering about our past?
No.
No. Okay, I was like, am I in the right group?
Okay, so you want to challenge anymore here to leave, but he had a wonderful question. And his question was, if God created us, what created God? I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, I don't have an answer on top of my head.
Don't think you'll find it there either.
No, I don't think so. It's not in my head, that's for sure. Hmm. Wow. And what did you guys come up with?
I had no answer.
No,
Craig
I-
had
We-
Craig had something. He had a question to the answer.
Mm.
And Jesse mentioned the chicken and the egg. But if there is no beginning and no end, then we can't know what created God.
And it's like so the reason God was created was for the purpose of this, was to give an answer to this question.
Maybe he was born of time itself.
Yeah. But we sure feel a lot better when we have an answer.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, you would think, right?
yeah. For so long, right? Until the
Yeah,
if you take that all the way back,
if
Yeah,
it's
if you
the
take it-
answer we're expecting.
Yeah.
If it's not, then we'd rather not know.
Well, Heinz had a very nice demonstration about talking about the hologram. If you take a piece from the hologram, you see the entire hologram.
Right.
And I don't follow that metaphor.
It's the same as the ocean and the drop. The
Gotcha.
drop will
So the
still be
hologram, the hologram is contained in the hologram itself, right? In the piece of the hologram.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
You can't see if you widen the perspective on it, you'll actually see the whole hologram within that little piece.
Thank you. And what came to mind was a mirror, and if you take a piece of mirror, you still see the reflection.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still a mirror.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a tree. It is deep rooted in this reality, and then at the same time, it's reaching for the light.
That's so beautiful. Gee, thank you.
And the trunk is the connection between
Heaven and
we
earth.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, I
ahead.
lost. No, oh yeah, I was just thinking of tree, because it is used in many connections and in
Yeah. And when you were talking about the trunk tree, you said it's a
Mhm.
connection.
Mhm.
It's a connection between earth and heaven
Yeah.
for what for what it is.
So like when they talk about tree of life,
Yes.
it's
when you talk about past and present and talking about trees, then I think about moss, because moss was once a tree.
Yep.
So I was thinking with Ian's question, if in my imagination, if I had to ask that of my teacher, he would have said to me, keep on asking. That's your path.
Such a great answer.
It's about focus, Jason.
I love that. Focused win. Focused win.
Yeah, to me, I never asked the question because I don't exactly know who am I first. So tangibly, no, like I heard a lot of things, but really feel it, who am I? So the next thing would be like, you know, who is God, or like talking to God. And then it might get to that point, then like when I talk to God, then I'd be like, okay, what's beyond God? But I guess I'm not there yet, you know? So maybe Ian is at this point, he's like, well, I talked to God, and then now I want to know, is there anything beyond, or who created him?
Well, I think when you get to know yourself well enough, that's where you are.
You start knowing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
that's when... Sorry, Jess.
go ahead.
Okay, so I mean that's when you're talking to God, right? In truth.
Yeah.
So then you're still asking, okay, so what am I?
Yeah. Keep asking that question, I guess. I think for
Yeah.
me, it's, yeah.
Well, so I have an answer.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Okay, I don't have
yeah.
to search anymore. Perfect.
That's right. That's right. We did. Man did. Man made up God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There we go. Settled.
There you go. See?
And who made man?
God.
Mhm.
Of course. Come on, Heinz. We all know that.
Look at what
Uh,
fun we have.
the Bible tells everyone that. I mean, come on. And that was written by man. So, I mean, come on. Who made up God? So, and then God made man. So there, I mean, that's how it works.
So God is a man.
Well, no, we said no. I called it out earlier. I said mankind. Yeah.
Mankind. Okay.
I didn't say it, but in my head I did. So you guys should have known that.
That doesn't exist, womankind, eh?
I know,
Yeah.
right? It's like busted me twice already, and I called Ian out on it earlier.
But kind
Called
kind
God
in old Germanic, kind means no. So no
Oh,
man.
really? Wow.
Yeah, in German, in old Germanic.
It's also spelled kind, like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The root of the
Man
word,
child.
man child. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about languages earlier too. You know, when we were talking about the baby, Jesse, and then he was repeating, you know, and that we, when we, yeah, when we start words, we mimicking.
Mm.
But the impact that just the form of the structure of a language has on the brain, on the body.
for sure.
Like we talked about the other day, language are here to create the ego. So it has something to talk to you about.
Interesting.
That is so clever, Heinz.
Well, how else would you know you're doing it right?
Yeah, even if it's hot.
Okay.
You say it's hot, it's got to be hot. Oh, crazy animals we are.
When you said he was dancing around, hot, 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 hot. So he must have known what hot was.
Holy. Sorry, guys.
Trying to find out.
Wow. That was something.
You all right, Pascal?
Oh yeah, but it's super icy right now. And then like the two dogs were just going after another dog, and I was like, oh my God.
That's not so funny though.
Yeah, my boots are pretty slippery too, so I was just going on the ice, like almost like ice skating.
Yeah.
But I'm good now.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about hot cement today, just icy
No.
cement.
Yeah,
Same thing.
but it's mild, right? It's like, I don't know, for you guys, it's 38 right now.
Oh, heck.
Yeah, it's warm for here,
Yeah,
right?
that
For
is.
winter.
Yeah.
Chinook Day, man.
Yeah.
Chinook.
That's summertime
we-
up there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we haven't had like much of a winter here. Not yet.
Yeah,
And
touch
for
wood.
Jenny, Pascal, Jenny was bragging in the text. She's saying it's 60 degrees in Florida and cold.
It was wet yesterday. It was wet yesterday.
Yeah, they need to spend a few weeks in Canada. I mean, she's not that far, right?
I
So
know. So
can just
funny.
go like, I don't know, Montreal, Toronto.
Mhm.
And maybe she'll have a different perspective when she goes back home. You know, be like, oh, it's warm. Right? It's always warm.
Yeah, I must say, I do miss that. I really do miss that.
Miss the warm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And being able to walk outside no matter what, you know, at
Exactly.
least once a day.
And you don't have to dress like you don't want anybody to recognize you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a process to walk the dogs, right? Like you gotta dress them for it. That's like, oh. But, well, let's talk about God.
If you dress the dogs for winter, do you then shave them in summer?
What's that, story? Say again?
If you dress them for winter, do you then shave them again for summer? So they're short-haired in summer.
Yeah. Yeah, one I don't have to dress him, but like her, like she's got really short hair and doesn't grow. So
Mm.
stays always the same length. Hmm.
Okay, guys, I have to sign off and go off to work. Thank you so much for my great start to the day. And Jenny, it was so wonderful to have you with us again. Have a great
blessed
day,
day.
everybody.
I
Thank
know.
Have a
you.
great day, Austin.
Bye.
Yeah,
Hi,
bye,
Jenny.
Alison.
Uh, well, what would we summarize today as? What words would we use? What word do you bring in? Even if it's at the end.
The all that is.
Mm. Nice. That connection to the conversation of the present, like different ways of seeing our patterns, our automatics, releasing them if they are charging us or holding us or unresolved, and the different ways to see all the different perspectives to see what's happening the present moment. So all that is, just as it is.
Yeah.
And know that all that it isn't. It just helps with a wider view. What is?
Oh,
Joy is. A lot of joy, a lot of laughter. That's healthy.
It is. It triggers me to think of collaboration, right? Together, sharing and caring. A demonstration of it today is space.
Mm.
To share our observations, our victories, our hurts, our pains. The whole journey of life.
And what an experience that is. That journey.
What it is. There it is again. Just what it is. The session was named awareness. Thank you, Ian. Triggering it, bringing it in. Aware of what is, aware of the present, aware of neutral.
Aware of new.
New, old, constrictive, expansive, yes, and.
Mm.
Aware of separation as a temporary soul state.
Separation, scarcity, right? The baked in structure. That's how we view things. God is a he, right? Oh. Just as much energy as we put into separation, we could put into together, similarities, the same as. And it would be completely different. And it could be completely different. It's just the noticing as I speak the words, how I can adjust them to open space. Because we've all said something that's like, ooh, I didn't like that. Or we say it and it's just like, that just wasn't right. It just wasn't what I meant.
Yeah, because it didn't come from the right place.
And we feel it, right? We feel it. It's a feeling. That we can get comfortable with saying, oh, good. What would be better? What would replace that? How could I do this again? You're free to do it again. Free to try it again. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you. Great day. Have a great rest of it.
Thanks for a great day. Have a hug.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Everyone,
All right,
bye-bye,
bye,
take
Chief.
care.
Bye, Heinz, Pascal, Craig.
Yeah, love and
Next
hugs,
time.
everybody.
Bye, T.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Pascal.